Yo, what's up everyone? Today I am introducing something new to the channel, and that is some old school book reviews. Now in these book reviews I will tell you what I liked about a book, what I didn't like, I'll give you an overall summary of it, and I will tell you my overall feelings on it as well. And all of that starts right now. So the book we're reviewing today is The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Okay, so The Art of War was written approximately 2,500 years ago, and for those of you who aren't very good at math, that is a very, very long time ago. So long ago, in fact, that at the time, China, or that region, was divided into 7 nations who all lived under a feudal system, meaning that they had a king, or in this case, an emperor, sitting at the top, and they had slaves and peasants down the bottom. During this time, there was a lot of warfare, there was a lot of tension between these states, and the time came to be known as the Spring-Autumn period, and it's in this period that the author of this book is supposedly said to have been born. Now I did a little bit of research, and a lot of people are actually unsure as to whether Sun Tzu was the sole contributor to this book, because like a lot of ancient texts similar to the Bible, they tend to have been the efforts of many people rather than just one, and some people go as far as even saying that Sun Tzu never existed at all. Nonetheless, Sun Tzu is the name that is on the front of the cover, and therefore we will credit him as the author. So Sun Tzu, you're a legend, mate. Anyway, this book is a treatise about war, meaning that it systematically works through all the different components and aspects of warfare. It pretty much talks about how to attain victory and deal with your enemies. Surprisingly, despite its age, the book's actually still used very much today in militaries, businesses, sports teams, all looking to gain some edge over their opponents. Now it's very important to note that a lot of the things that are said in this book may seem common sense or things that you've heard a million times before, but that's only because we've actually had the privilege of knowing this stuff as common knowledge. Back then, this kind of stuff was probably very, very enlightening and insightful, and it was probably the first time this kind of topic was mentioned or expressed in this kind of way. Okay, let's talk about the actual book. It is 13 chapters. My version is 68 pages, so it's quite small. Another thing about this book is that it's not, I would say, written in statements. It's written in a sort of list, and I'll show you what I mean. Hopefully you can see, but it's all numbered. We've got 22, 23, 24, and it's like this for every single chapter. So it is a little bit odd. You're not kind of used to reading books like that, I guess, but when you understand that it is a treatise, it is a systematic review of warfare, it kind of makes sense to do it in that format. So it's a bit odd, but it's just something that you'll have to get used to. Okay, so let's talk about the key points from the book. Knowing your enemy and knowing yourself are key themes that replay over and over in the book. And they've got a really good quote. I can't really remember it, so I'll pop it somewhere here, maybe. And yeah, it talks all about knowing yourself, being aware of your strengths and your weaknesses, but also being aware of the strengths and weaknesses of your opponent. Understanding how they operate, understanding how they will react in different situations, and how you yourself would react in different situations. Another important point that I took note of was waiting for the opportune moment. Bringing that into context of today's society, you sometimes find people doing things that might be the right thing to do, but not necessarily the right time to do it. And this book makes a point of understanding when and when not to do things. The book also talks about trying to achieve victory in the most efficient way possible. But what I think the biggest takeaway in the entire book is, despite the really crazy cool quote that we just read before, I think the biggest takeaway is preparation. Regardless of whether you're trying to get a new job or join a new sports team, learn a new instrument, get in a fight with someone, it really doesn't matter. Preparation is key. The more knowledge you have on a certain topic, whether you know the terrain, whether you know who you're dealing with, you know the history of the company, you know how people act and how they feel and what makes them tick, all of these things culminate to give you more and more chances of success. Now I want to tell you a little bit about the things that I didn't like about this book, and there are a few of them. So straight up, I found the book a bit tedious. It was, you know, kind of boring at times. I even found myself drifting off. I had to actually go back and reread certain passages because my mind just went. Now, I don't know if it was because of the layout of the book or because it's written in such small sentences. It's a bit rigid. You just kind of jump in from one sentence to another, to another, to another, and it just comes across as really blunt. Another thing that I have to mention, which isn't necessarily something I didn't like, it's just a little bit of criticism, I guess. It's that the book's messages and the wisdom hidden inside the book, they don't jump out at you. And what I mean by this is that it's not a book that you're just turning the pages and you're absorbing all the information and understanding it. As we all know, the book is very, very old. So a lot of the stuff that it's saying, you have to add a little bit of mental acrobatics, I guess, to kind of bring it into the context of today's world. Talking about enemies and supply chains and knowing your people, all that kind of stuff. Yes, it does make sense in today's world, but you have to give it that context. It's just something to be aware of when you're reading the book or before you read it. Okay, so overall, I'm going to be honest, I didn't actually enjoy reading this book, but I also don't necessarily think that this book was designed to be enjoyed. Just like an atlas or, I don't know, a dictionary or a map, those texts aren't designed to be read for enjoyment. They're designed to have information that you extract from them and pop into your head. The information hidden within these texts is useful, and once you know it, you are better off or more likely to achieve success or your goals. So whilst I didn't necessarily enjoy reading this book, I am definitely glad that I did, and I would definitely recommend it to other people. As long as you're aware that you'll have to kind of manipulate things a little bit and bring them into the context of today's age, there isn't really a reason why you wouldn't gain something insightful from this book. There are lessons hidden within the pages, and I think that they are important lessons, and that, yeah, it would be very, very helpful to understand what this book's trying to tell us. Anyway, if you guys are still here, thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a little something from it. I'd really like to start doing more book reviews, so if there's any particular book that you like that you want to see me review, please either leave a comment in the place where you leave comments, or otherwise just send me a message on Instagram. I've got a brand new one. I'll link it in the description, so if you could please follow that. I really need some followers. It looks really lame at the moment, so that would be helpful. Anyways, thanks again for watching, guys. I will see you later in the week. I have a few new videos coming up of book summaries that I've been doing, so hopefully you enjoy them. Cheers.